Hi everyone, I am Sasha from Accordion Singapore, and today I'm going to talk about how to select accordion. Many of my students ask me how to select accordion once they're going to take their first accordion, and regardless whether they get new accordion or second-hand accordion, it's very important to know some very basic principles that help you to understand whether you need to put in some additional money to repair your accordion or you can just get it from scratch. Basically, there are three main components that you want to check. The first component is a compression, which is how much air leak through the bellow of the accordion. And second is mechanics. Mechanics is a connection of our buttons to the corresponding clappers and the corresponding sound. Good mechanics doesn't produce additional sound as compared to some not so good mechanics that have many metal sound except for the sound of accordion itself. And the third one is the wrist, the heart of our accordion, the most important part that basically produce the sound. So let's start from the first one, from the compression. Compression can be checked very easily. For compression, I will show this instrument. This accordion is comparably old accordion, and usually it comes fully locked. You know that accordion have two locks in our left and our right side, or on the top and the bottom when you hold it correspondingly. So how to check compression? Unlock accordion, take the keyboard and just raise accordion. You can see for this accordion the bellow opens quite fast by itself. It clearly means that there are some additional holes except for original hole that made for sound production. You also can say that you can comparably easily close accordion without pressing any keys. This compression can be considered as not very good one, and this is usually happens with the second-hand accordions. So sometimes compression problem can happen due to the leakage of the bellow itself, or sometimes it may happen because the materials around the clapons, around the reeds, or the connection of reeds to accordion itself inside may be not so tight. So this can be gone further, and maybe I'll later have another video telling you how to maintain and keep compression of accordion better. Just for example, this accordion have a good compression, so you can see that if I raise it, the bellow still opens a little bit, but it opens much less compared to the previous accordion. So this accordion is newer, and in particular it's newer 30 years compared to the previous accordion. So this is an example of a good compression. Except for compression, as I mentioned, very important component is mechanics of accordion. How to check mechanics? You need to take accordion, opposite lock it on the both sides, on the top and the bottom, and you need to check all keys can be pressed easily, as well as very important. You need to understand whether some of them touch each other, produce some additional sounds, or maybe even stuck. Some accordion during transportation may get the reeds stuck, or maybe the reeds touching each other and they're too easy to stuck. So what we do, we don't open bellow and we press every key, and here does this key produce some additional sound except for its original sound. Original sound of the key without the pitch of the note itself have to be very soft, because inside the accordion there are special material add, and these materials in fact restrict accordion from producing any additional sound. They soften this mechanical sound, and in a very good accordion these sounds are minimized. The same do for the bellow. For the left side, we can press all buttons. Here we have 5 rows. You want to see whether these buttons can stack or whether there is some additional sound produced. Please take a note that in the left hand, in accordion, our basses are duplicated, so when we press one bass, we can have another two basses pressed at the same time. So don't be afraid, this is a normal behavior, it's not because buttons or internal mechanism touch each other, it's just because accordion is built in this way. Except for this, all other sounds have to have very easy movement, doesn't produce any additional sound, and of course shouldn't stuck. If buttons are stuck, sometimes it can be solved comparably easy, and I will show you how in our other videos, but sometimes it can be a really big problem, so better don't take a risk unless you have some friend, achievable, or at least professional mechanical engineer who can help you to fix the accordion, who can help you to maintain accordion well. The third one, probably one of the most important things that we are looking for accordion, is its sound. So let's first take our accordion as example. Let's see how to check the sound of accordion. I need to mention here that accordions themselves doesn't assume that you have to tune them. It means if you bought a new accordion and it was tuned, you later don't need to retune it many times during your usage of this accordion. It means it can be tuned well for 20-30 years if conditions are good. Conditions are, it have to be moderate humidity and it have to be too hot or too cold place. So what we do, we select the single register without any tremolo, so it have to be one dot, and dot have to be in the center. And then for every key we open and close bellow. You would ask me why we need to open and close bellow. Because inside the accordion we have one reed for opening and another reed for closing. These reeds are tuned absolutely identically, so you cannot notice the difference. However, when accordion is not tuned, this difference becomes obvious. And that's where you can understand if accordion tuned well or not. Accordion tuning is a very complicated process, as not too many people can do it well. So if there's a few keys untuned in accordion and accordion is second hand, then it's okay. But if there's many keys untuned, all of them are untuned, or accordion is new but not tuned already, then it's a warning for you. Better find some maybe other model or other shop for accordion, because accordion tuning cannot be done by you. You need to definitely find some professional, and not all professional will be able to tune it for you. Moreover, the price of the accordion tuning is very high, so you better don't do it every time you want. You better have accordion tuned already. So we do go through every key and check whether the key is tuned or not. So you can see this is an example when we have one pitch on opening and a little bit different pitch on closing. And you can check the same way our left keyboard, where you have to press all basses. And chords, we have 3 or 4 buttons for chords, so we need to check them all. From chords it's not always easy to understand, but at least we can look for some obvious mismatches of the chord, of the harmony, If your accordion is a free-bass accordion, which means you can switch to the Strandella system in the left side or C system in the left side, so you can play individual notes, then the checking of accordion will be exactly the same as the right side. We can always take some newer accordion and can check what can be the good example of tuned accordion. Every sound there, every single note there will be identical for opening and closing. Again, put attention. You have to use single register with one of the central dots, not in the tremolo dots. And the same in the left hand. And you need to go through the whole keyboard again. That's basically all. If your accordion have their reeds tuned well, and if your accordion have relatively good compression, so bellow doesn't open fast, if mechanic doesn't have problem, no any nose stuck in the both left and right hands, you can actually proceed to buy this accordion. But of course, there's many other criteria, and sometimes some students they take attention for the look of the accordion. I would say look is important. Sometimes based on the condition of the look, you can see some scratches. You can understand how owner took care of accordion if it's a second-hand accordion. But generally speaking, I have faced some very nice looking accordions with completely untuned reeds and very old-fashioned and also good looking accordions with perfectly tuned internal side. And of course I will always prefer to the second option, because for education purposes and for performance purposes, sound of course the most important thing. Compression is very important, because compression is directly related to how fast your accordion will respond to your actions. And mechanics is very important, because you want to play piano. You don't want spectators hear the sound of the mechanics of accordion. You want them hear the music that you play. This is all. Thank you very much, and please write comments and give us feedback. It was Sasha from Accordion Singapore. See you again.